Chapter 12. How to use the power of accurate thinking. The rules of accurate thinking are clear and simple, yet so few people take the time to learn the rules. Here is a working description of the rules of accurate thinking which all successful people follow. First of all, accurate thinking is based upon two simple fundamentals. They're called inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is used when necessary facts on which to base your thinking are not available. In this case, you act on hypotheses or what you assume the facts to be. Deductive reasoning is used when you have the facts or what appears to be the fact on which to base your thinking. The next step in accurate thinking is to separate facts from fiction. You must determine whether you are dealing with hypotheses or real facts. We are sure that you have dependable facts on which to base your thinking. You take the second step by separating these facts into two classes. One is the most important facts, and the other is the unimportant facts. When you do this, you may be surprised that the overwhelmingly greater number of unimportant facts that you deal with daily becomes less relevant than the important facts. So you may ask, what is an important fact and how can I distinguish it from an unimportant fact? Well, here is the answer. An important fact is any fact that will aid you to any extent whatsoever in obtaining the object of your major purpose in life. All other facts, as far as you are concerned, are unimportant. You should waste no time with them. A good tip is to put on paper all facts that you consider to be important and those that you consider to be unimportant. As time progresses, you will make a profound discovery regarding accurate thinking and be able to separate the things that hold you back and the things that move you forward toward your goal. Now let's discuss the power of opinions and how they affect accurate thinking. To start with, let's recognize that most opinions are without value because they are based on bias, prejudice, intolerance, guesswork, hearsay evidence, and all-out ignorance. This represents the source of most tragedies of life that people meet with unnecessarily. Out of all of the tragedies that cause misery and failure, none is as merciless and destructive than those that grow out of the indifference of people who make no attempt to learn how to think accurately. Thomas Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States, was asked what effect he believed that World War I had on civilization. His reply was brief, but it was a masterpiece that we must remember as long as we live. He said, "I cannot answer your question because I have no facts on which to base an opinion." So anytime you are about to express an opinion about anything, make sure that you have factual evidence to back up that opinion. But you will learn if you observe carefully that the more successful a person is, the less he is inclined to express wild and unjustified opinions about anything. You will also observe that the drifters that are suffering from frustration because they recognize that their failures usually have an assortment of opinions on everything you can imagine. How beneficial it would be if all people who express their opinions or give out information would take the time to identify the source from which they were able to speak. You cannot influence all people to engage in this sort of safe thinking, but you yourself can give it careful consideration. Here's a simple rule which will prevent you from being misled by unsound opinions expressed by other people. When you hear someone make a statement which you question or know in your heart is not sound in reasoning, ask them this simple forward question: how do you know? Then stand firm on that question and force the speaker to identify the source from which he got the information that he is endeavoring to pass on as facts. You can also reject the statement entirely as if it had not been made. Try to do this exercise to whoever is speaking, no matter what their reputation is. Remember, you are given as your richest birthright the privilege of controlling your own thoughts. You must treat this divine gift with profound respect and do not allow anyone to do your thinking for you or influence your thinking in any manner whatsoever, except by the rules of accurate thinking that you are learning here. Follow this procedure regardless of what people think or say about you. If they wish to call you a cynic or doubting Thomas, let that be their misfortune. But for your own good, go right on thinking by rules that will save you from many mistakes and tragedies throughout your life. Here are 7 rules to memorize and follow as a daily habit to increase your knowledge as an accurate thinker. 1. Never accept the opinions of other people as being facts until you have learned the source of those opinions and satisfied yourself of their accuracy. 2. Remember that free advice, no matter from whom it is received, will bear the closest of examination before it is acted upon as safe. Generally speaking, free advice is worth exactly what it cost. 3. Alert yourself immediately when you hear anyone speaking of others in a discourteous or slanderous spirit. This very fact should put you on notice that what you're hearing is biased, to say the very least about it. 4th, when asking others information, do not disclose to them what you wish the information to be, because most people have the bad habit of trying to please under such circumstances. 5th, remember that anything which exists anywhere throughout the universe is capable of proof, and where no such proof is available, it is safer to assume that nothing exists. 6th, one of the great unexplainable miracles consists in the fact that both truth and falsehood carry within them a silent, invisible means of identifying themselves as such. Therefore, remember this truth and begin developing the necessary intuitive faculty to enable you to sense what is false and what is true. 7th, follow the habit of asking, "How do you know?" when anyone makes a statement you cannot identify as being true. Follow this habit faithfully, and you will see many persons squirm and turn red in the face when you insist upon a direct reply. The most accurate thinkers are the scientists, because they investigate with open minds, and never allow their wishes to become the fathers of facts. We must deal with each fact as it is, not as someone would like that fact to be. Now one last final word of warning. If you study yourself carefully, you may discover that your own emotions are your greatest handicap in the business of accurate thinking. It is easy to believe that which you want to believe, and unfortunately, that is precisely what most people do. This is the method by which many people condemn themselves to failure and defeat. It is a method which opens wide that sealed envelope that contains the list of penalties that people must pay for neglecting to take possession of their own minds and use them for constructive ends beneficial to themselves.